Black Lives Matter was this incredible eruption, particularly because we were in the middle of COVID. To some people felt like it came from nowhere, but actually it came from years of slights and of marginalization and discrimination. It happened in the middle of COVID where there was this disproportionate number of people, black and brown people, who were dying. And they weren't really dying of COVID, they were dying of poverty. They were dying because of the housing and because of the kind of jobs that they had to do. In George Floyd, we saw the most naked, brazen, violent example of racism. But it took place at a time when we also saw the product of the most banal, institutional, quotidian forms of racism that meant that there were black and brown bodies being stacked up in morgues and mortuaries throughout the Western world in disproportionate numbers. And though it originated in Minneapolis and it originated through the lens, if you like, of American racism, it quite easily pollinated all around the world. That there were Black Lives Matter demonstrations in Reykjavik, in Iceland, in Helsinki, of course in Britain. There's no place in the world where a form of racism doesn't exist. It's not always against black people. But in each place, it's different. It expresses itself slightly differently. And it's recognizable. It's this kind of hardy virus, racism. And as soon as you've found one form of inoculating one kind of strain, it will find another way to emerge. The work is never quite done, but the energy of both black and white, particularly young people who have been written off, a lot of them politically. Oh, they just play with their Game Boys and they play with their PS4s and they're also introverted and it's all Facebook and WhatsApp. Look what they did with all the networks that they had. They created a movement out of what felt like nothing. There was a generational urgency to have done with this thing, which I found incredibly inspiring.